All right, ladies and gentlemen, they're applauding, so there must be something good, although that's not the case. I mean, the Dow drops 300 points. They stand there and applaud, too, which I never quite understood. Maybe Rob Williams, the Newsmax deputy financial editor, can explain it to us. But first, let's put the closing numbers for the daily closing bell report up on the screen. You see the Dow dropping 196 points, the NASDAQ down 43, and the S&P down 28. And Rob, I got to tell you, if it weren't for Apple, the NASDAQ would have gone down much, much more. So the market was floating along pretty good. And then the Fed issued their notes, and the market started tanking.
Well, exactly. The Fed kept interest rates steady and kept the language in its report with the patient wording, meaning that it probably won't raise rates until June at the earliest. But I think investors sense a disconnect between what the Fed saw and what they're seeing in earnings reports this week.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And of course, the warning that they're that much closer to raising interest rates, that's really what spooked investors, I would imagine.
Well, right. The Fed cited a stronger labor market, improved economic conditions, low inflation.
In other words, it was an Obama speech.
Well, they offered a very upbeat outlook, but in the last couple of days, we've seen big companies like Microsoft and Caterpillar with really disappointing earnings, and they are blaming the stronger dollar. So I think investors are hoping to get some relief from the stronger dollar, because every other country is cutting rates and trying to trigger inflation.
Right. And they're talking about the opposite. But of course, oil, that ugly word that we've discussed so much over the last few weeks and months, dropped again today. So that contributed to the whole climate as well.
It did. It reached another 5-year low, and so that put pressure on the energy sector. So it's now under $45 a barrel. It looks as if it's never going to get back above 50. I shouldn't say never.
Don't say never.
But 50
that's a
is
scoop. If you got that, that's a big scoop.
Well, $50 a barrel is looking a long way away, so it looks as if we'll probably head lower, and no bottom in sight yet.
And we broke below $45 today to about $44, $45 for those out there, the lowest in 5 years. Now, looking at Apple, we talked about Apple yesterday after the closing bell. I mean, they said it was the most profits that any company in the history of the world ever made in one quarter. I think 2 weeks worth of Apple's profits, they said, could buy the New York Yankees. That's putting it in dollar terms. And I've read, Apple went up about 6 today, which is about over 5%, I guess.
Right.
But the question is always, can the momentum continue? And there are two schools of thought. The watch is coming out in April. But are they maxed out on the iPhone? So this controversy will always continue with Apple.
Well, Cantor Fitzgerald raised its price target today on Apple from $143 a share to $160, so that's about $35 potentially in gains that we'll see over the next year if they're on the money.
And of course, if you want a watch, I think you have to have the iPhone to make the watch work or to make it compatible to get the features that you need. So they got you there also. So if I want the watch, I got to buy the phone because I don't have the phone yet.
Right. Well, yeah.
Although I should get a free one. Come on, what's going on here?
Well, they sold about 74 million iPhones in the last quarter.
Not bad.
And as you said, they have the Apple Watch coming out. And they're doing really well in China, so it looks as if there's still room to expand there. Now,
looking ahead to tomorrow, we have the jobless numbers, of course, coming out, estimated to be about 300,000.
Right, and that's been the number. It's been a bit higher this month because of part-time workers being furloughed after the holidays.
All right, we will check in with Rob Williams again tomorrow. Folks, if you want to take control of your financial future, check out moneynews.com. We put it up on the screen for you every single day, but you need to go there by yourself. moneynews.com. It is live for you 24/7. And thank you, Rob, as always. And hopefully tomorrow we'll have a little bit better report. If not, don't come back. No, only kidding, only kidding. Give Me 5 is next, folks. Don't go away on Newsmax Television.